Welcome, listeners, to another My Mind Mashups Deep Dive. This is where we try to unravel mysteries, spark that curiosity, and really make sense of some complex ideas together. Today we're tackling a pretty big one. It's sort of part philosophy, part physics.
And definitely part internet rabbit hole, right?
Exactly. The question is, if everything fundamentally is vibration, could we be living inside some kind of hidden frequency code, like a simulation of sound?
It's a wild thought.
It is. So we're going to dig into the sources you sent over spanning, proper acoustics, bioacoustics.
And compare that with things like ancient wisdom, Pythagoras, sacred chants.
And all those wellness claims and conspiracy theories you see everywhere now. Our mission, as always, is to give you clarity over the hype. We want to challenge assumptions, expand your understanding of what frequency actually does, so you'll get the knowledge, get it quickly but thoroughly, and see how this invisible force might shape, well, everything. From sand grains to your own cells. Before we jump in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy content that makes you think. Okay, let's start with the bedrock, the science.
Right. We have to ground this in physics first. Sound.
Yeah.
It's not just what hits your eardrum. It's a mechanical force. It's energy transfer, rhythmic, defined by frequency that's hertz, and amplitude, how intense or loud it is.
Okay, force, frequency, amplitude. Got it.
And for that force, that energy, to do anything predictable, anything structural, you need a key condition.
Yeah, resonance.
Resonance. I feel like I hear that word a lot. You do, and it's crucial. It's basically what happens when you hit something, say, a guitar string or even a cell membrane with an external force at its exact natural frequency.
Yeah.
When you get that match, the energy transfer just goes through the roof, it's super efficient, and the system vibrates really strongly. That's how vibration can build things, create structure.
Ah, okay. So that's the mechanism. And this ties into visualizing sound, doesn't it? Cymatics.
Precisely. If you think about Pythagoras, he was fascinated by how musical harmony could be boiled down to simple math ratios, like 2.1 for an octave. He saw it as cosmic order.
Like the universe having a hidden mathematical structure.
Exactly. And cymatics is like seeing that ancient math. Ernst Chladni, back in the day, vibrated metal plates with sand on them.
And the sand made patterns, right?
Incredible geometric patterns. The sand automatically moves to the still points, the nodes, and creates these intricate, reproducible designs. It's visible structure from invisible force.
So that's undeniable proof. Frequency as a physical architect, creating boundaries, shapes. It's beautiful, honestly.
It is stunning. And that's where the temptation comes in, to jump to mystical conclusions.
Right, because it looks magical.
But we need to be clear here. The science is solid, cymatics is real physics.
Yeah.
But those patterns, they are, mathematically speaking, quite simple.
Yeah.
And they're totally governed by the material properties.
What do you mean? Like the sand on the plate?
Exactly. The density of the sand, the tension and elasticity of the plate. That's what dictates the pattern along with the frequency. Extrapolating that to say, this frequency heals everything, ignores all those critical physical constraints. The architecture depends on the material and the math, not just wishful thinking.
Okay, that makes sense. Material properties matter. So let's take that idea, frequency as a mechanical force, and apply it to us, the human body. We're not metal plates. How does a sound wave become a biological instruction?
Yeah, now we move into bioacoustics. The key process here is called mechanotransduction.
Mechanotransduction, okay.
It's basically how the cell translates that mechanical force, the acoustic pressure wave, into biochemical signals, actual commands inside the cell. You can sort of imagine the cell's internal scaffolding, the cytoskeleton, like a tiny, super-tuned drum skin.
Okay.
When that sound wave hits it, it causes physical stress, vibration, maybe pushes things around slightly. That physical nudge triggers receptors on the cell surface.
Like little buttons being pushed?
Kind of, yeah. And pushing those buttons physically activates pathways inside the cell that can do things like, well, change gene activity. It's a physical signal, not chemical, not electrical initially, a direct mechanical command.
That's incredible. So it's not just our ears, our whole body is sensing and responding to these pressures.
On a cellular level, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where the precision becomes absolutely critical, because you see this amazing duality. Frequency can heal, or it can cause serious harm.
And the difference is tiny adjustments.
Extremely tiny. It's all about the parameters.
Yeah.
So on one end, you've got therapies like Lebios, low-intensity pulsed ultrasound.
For healing bones?
Exactly, for non-healing fractures. It uses very specific settings, like maybe a 1.5 millihertz frequency pulsed in a certain way. It's chosen because it gets deep into tissue without creating damaging heat. It acts like a gentle trigger, telling the cells, okay, time to build bone here.
Wow. Gentle trigger, but change those settings slightly.
And it flips completely. We know loud, uncontrolled noise, which is just chaotic frequency, causes oxidative stress, kills cells in the ear, leads to hearing loss. That's one kind of damage.
Right.
But maybe even more direct is physical vibration damage. Think about workers using power tools all day. If those tools vibrate at certain frequencies, especially above 100 hertz, without control.
That causes nerve damage.
Neural and vascular damage, yes. It leads to conditions like hand-arm vibration syndrome, or HAVS. Irreversible damage.
So the mechanism is powerful, but the code, the specific parameters, are hypersensitive.
Absolutely. The engineering that goes into making ultrasound a healing tool versus a destructive force is incredibly complex. Frequency, intensity, duration, how it's focused, it all matters. It's not something you'll just stumble upon in a random YouTube video.
That need for precision is...
Yeah.
That's stunning. Which brings us to something that is naturally precise and stable, the Earth's own hum, the Schumann resonance.
Ah, yes, the SR. This is real measurable phenomenon. It's a set of specific electromagnetic waves, extremely low frequency, ELF waves. They're basically standing waves trapped in the space between the Earth's surface and the ionosphere, like a giant resonant cavity.
And they're always there.
Continuously excited by lightning strikes happening all over the globe. And the main one, the fundamental frequency, is remarkably stable, 7.83 hertz.
7.83 hertz, okay. But this specific frequency seems to have sparked a lot of, well, myths and conspiracy theories.
Oh, definitely. You hear claims that changes in the SR or blackouts are causing shifts in consciousness or the time is speeding up.
So what's the actual science say?
The science is pretty clear. Yes, the SR does fluctuate slightly in intensity and exact frequency sometimes. But those variations correlate directly with things we understand. Global lightning activity, changes in the ionosphere due to solar activity.
Not planetary consciousness upgrades.
No. The claims about time speeding up or mass awakenings just aren't supported by the data. Any measured changes in, say, day length due to ionospheric stuff or in the milliseconds range. No time warp happening.
But there is something intriguing about that 7.83 hertz number, isn't there? The way it lines up with our brains.
That's the scientifically interesting part, yes. That 7.83 hertz fundamental sits right in the middle of the human theta brainwave range.
Theta waves. That's like deep relaxation, creativity.
Exactly. Deep meditation, the edge of sleep, creative flow states. So this overlap leads to a hypothesis, brainwave entrainment. The idea is maybe our brains evolved within this constant natural electromagnetic rhythm. Perhaps there's a fundamental link between the Earth's signal and our own brain function, maybe even helping regulate our internal clocks, our circadian rhythms.
So if that stable 7.83 hertz was like the background rhythm we evolved with.
And think about modern life.
Yeah, we flooded the environment with artificial signals.
Exactly. Massive electromagnetic pollution, EMF, from phones, Wi-Fi, power lines, everything. This constant noise could potentially be disrupting those natural rhythms. There's research suggesting links between high EMF exposure and disrupted melatonin production, messed up sleep cycles.
An evolutionary misalignment. Wow. Okay, quick pause here. If this deep dive is resonating with you, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. We need to circle back a bit. We've seen frequency as structure, frequency as a biological signal. But what about the human fascination with specific sounds, the ancient ideas?
Right, that pull towards finding simple cosmic answers in sound. It goes way back. Pythagoras, again, with his music of the spheres, he believed the mathematical ratios he found in music, like the octave 2.1 or the perfect fifth 3.2, reflected a divine calculable order in the cosmos.
And that search for divine order in numbers seems to flow right into things like the solfeggio frequencies today.
It really does. You see these claims about ancient scales, sometimes linked to Gregorian chants having specific miracle tones.
Like the famous 528 hertz, the love frequency, or DNA repair frequency. Is there anything to that?
Well, let's separate things. Structured sound can have benefits. Listening to something like Gregorian chant has been shown in studies to reduce anxiety, say, in hospital patients. That's measurable.
Okay, so there is an effect.
But why? The most likely explanation is the effect of rhythm and structure itself. The steady tempo, the predictability, it promotes a meditative state, kind of like deep breathing or mindfulness. It's likely about the practice, not a magical property of one specific pitch.
So the claim that 528 hertz itself fixes DNA is?
That's basically modern numerology layered onto ancient scales. There's no credible scientific evidence for that specific claim. It's assigning mystical powers to numbers, which isn't how physics or biology works. Got it. Okay, another big controversy, the tuning standard.
Yeah.
440 hertz versus 432 hertz. The conspiracy is huge on this one.
Oh, the 440 hertz conspiracy. The idea that a 440 hertz, the international standard pitch, was somehow imposed maliciously, maybe by Nazis or some secret group to make people agitated or suppress consciousness.
Yeah, something like that. What's the real story?
The real story is much more boring, unfortunately, for the conspiracy theorists. It's about engineering and pragmatism. Before the standard, orchestras and instrument makers all over the world used slightly different tuning pitches. It was chaotic. Agreeing on a standard, like A440 Hz, which was internationally formalized around 1955, just made things easier for everyone. Manufacturing, performing together.
But why 440? Why not something else like 432?
Practicality. One of the suggestions considered earlier was actually 439 Hz, but 439 is a prime number. Back then, generating and reliably reproducing a frequency based on a prime number using the technology of the time, like tuning forks or electronic oscillators, was harder and less consistent than using a number like 440, which is easily divisible. So it was just easier to make reliable tuning devices for 440.
Basically, yes. It was a technical compromise based on convenience and consistency, not some plot against humanity.
Okay, debumps the conspiracy, but is there any reason people feel 432 hertz sounds better or different? Is it all placebo?
Not entirely placebo, perhaps, but the claims are way overblown. There is some very limited preliminary pilot data suggesting music tuned to A432 Hz might lead to slightly lower heart rates compared to 440 Hz. Some people self-report feeling calmer or more focused.
Might, slightly.
Exactly. We're talking small effects in early studies. To go from that to claiming 432 Hz is a universal healing frequency. The claim massively outstrips the evidence. You'd need large, rigorous, randomized controlled trials to even begin to suggest something like that. And those just haven't been done.
So, interesting hint, but mostly hype for now.
Pretty much.
Let's shift gears slightly. What about frequencies or sounds we don't consciously hear? Subliminal messages. Can sound actually get into our heads and influence us without us knowing?
Yes. Subliminal auditory perception. The science here is actually pretty solid. Yes, it can happen. Your unconscious mind can process sounds that are too fast, too quiet, or maybe masked by other sounds for your conscious mind to register them.
So like messages hidden in music.
Potentially, yes, or data played at super high speed. But what's really fascinating is research on complex subliminal messages. Things that require your brain to link pieces of information together, what researchers call relational binding. This seems to happen in the hippocampus.
The memory part of the brain.
Right. And studies have shown that if you subliminally flash, say, a picture of a face paired with a word like doctor, even though the person doesn't consciously see the word.
Their brain makes the connection.
Seems so. And that unconscious association that face means doctor can actually influence their decisions or judgments about that person significantly later, like maybe half an hour later.
Whoa! So complex data, processed unconsciously, can have delayed effects on conscious choices.
That's what the research suggests. It implies that patterns or information, even if not consciously heard, if they engage that relational binding process, could potentially have subtle, long-term influences on mood or behavior.
Okay, that's definitely something to think about. And a reminder, if you like these deep dives, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps us out.
So let's try and pull this all together. What's the big picture? I think the core takeaway is frequency is undeniably powerful. It shapes physical structures. It acts as a biological command signal. Cymatics proves the first. Mechanotransduction and ultrasound therapy prove the second. But, and this is the crucial but, its effective use, especially biologically, demands incredible precision. Remember lip use for bone healing versus HAVS from vibration damage?
Yeah, the tiny changes in parameters make all the difference. Healing versus harm.
Exactly. That fact alone should make us extremely skeptical of broad, simplistic claims about specific frequencies doing amazing things for everyone all the time.
And yet those simple claims are so appealing, aren't they? The idea that everything is vibration feels elegant.
It does. Psychologically, it offers a single, coherent explanation for a world that often feels chaotic and random. If everything, health, success, mood, is just a matter of frequency.
Then you feel like you have some control. You just need the right frequency, the right tone, the magic bullet hurts.
Right. It gives a sense of agency, a simple technical fix for complex life problems. And that's why these claims go viral on places like TikTok. Listen to 528 Hertz for manifestation. It's easy, it feels empowering, it offers hope, whether the underlying science is there or not.
So how do we, the listeners, navigate this? How do we separate the real signal from all that noise and hype?
It comes down to using a credibility compass, applying critical thinking. We can have high confidence in certain things based on solid evidence. Cymatics is real physics, based on math and material properties. Targeted ultrasound, with precise parameters, does promote tissue healing. Uncontrolled vibration does cause neural damage. The 440 Hz standard was a practical engineering decision. These are well established.
Okay, high confidence there. What's on the other end?
Then you have the fringe or speculative category. This includes claims that specific solfeggio tones or tuning to 432 Hz guarantees universal healing or mystical benefits. Or that the 440 Hz standard was a malicious plot, or that Schumann resonance fluctuations are directly altering global consciousness right now.
These lack rigorous proof.
They lack the kind of precise, repeatable, controlled evidence that physics demands for something like Los Pius therapy. We should demand that same level of rigor for wellness claims. The burden of proof is on the extraordinary claim.
That's a really helpful distinction. Okay, final thoughts. Maybe a different way to frame this. Perhaps reality isn't literally a simulation of sound, but maybe sound, vibration, frequency. That's how reality lets us feel its underlying code. Just a thought.
I like that. A metaphor for sensing the structure.
And the actionable takeaway from all this: be intentional about your sonic environment. We know sound influences us cellularly, psychologically, so use that knowledge, experiment. Maybe try steady tempo music or tones if you want to calm your nervous system, leveraging that vagus nerve stimulation effect we talked about with chanting. Choose soundscapes that help you focus or relax, depending on what you need.
Use sound consciously.
Exactly. Knowledge here should give us awe at the complexity and agency in how we use sound, not anxiety about hidden frequencies controlling us.
Well said. And we definitely want to hear your thoughts on all this. Drop them in the comments, your perspective, your experiences. They could genuinely shape where we go in our next deep dive. And don't forget, you can find My Mind Mashups everywhere you listen. Amazon Music, Audible, Facebook, Pocket Casts, Spotify, TikTok, and YouTube. All the places.
Okay, here's one last thing for you to mull over. We know that infrasound sound below our hearing range, like below 20 hertz, can physically vibrate our eyeballs at certain frequencies, around 19 hertz apparently. And this can create feelings of anxiety, unease, even apparitions, the so-called ghost frequency. So given that, what other inaudible frequencies, maybe from technology or just the urban environment, might be subtly vibrating us, influencing our collective mood, our stress levels, our decisions, without us ever consciously knowing the source? Something to think about. We really hope this deep dive sparked some curiosity, maybe challenged an assumption or two, and expanded your understanding of this fascinating world of frequency. Until the next deep dive, keep listening deeply.